We've got some breaking news this morning. Both the England and Wales World Cup teams have backed down on a decision for their captains to wear a One Love armband supporting the LGBTQ+ community whilst playing in Qatar, after the threat of sporting sanctions were raised by FIFA. Gloria, right decision?
Well, this is a big issue, and I have to admit up front that I don't watch football every week or anything like that, but I do watch England in the World Cup. And to go back a bit, I would have thought that when the decision was taken for Qatar, something like 14 and 15 years ago, that all these political issues would actually have been sorted out. And actually the official line was the fact that they were forced not to wear the armband, the One Love. But what I was a bit disturbed about yesterday was one of the co-hosts, actually, on all the radio stations and eventually on TV, accused Britain of being two-faced, really, because they say, on one hand, you're complaining about all the rules that we have in Qatar, and yet 3 months ago or something like that, you were quite happy to accept 100 million investment, and Qatar has invested this country a lot. So there was all of that going on. And
the double standards kind of thing.
Well, the double standards, yes, absolutely.
I mean, Qatar issued a statement. They said, you know, everyone is welcome in Qatar, but we are a conservative country and any public display of affection, regardless of orientation, is frowned upon. We simply ask people to respect our culture. Brenda, where do you stand on it?
Well, the One Love armband, you know, there were so many countries aside from England and Wales, that were going to do it. And my thing is, if you want to stand for something, don't back down. It's a global platform, the football, and everybody's going to be watching it. For me, it's supposed to be about everyone coming together, everybody uniting, but this is so disjointing everything because you're mixing the politics with the sport. It's just not something that I think is going to be fun, and especially for the LGBTQ+ community, you know, whether it's... I understand religious beliefs and everything, and I understand they don't like affection, but that's basically saying to somebody, you can't be yourself. And for that, I'm not going to be a part of it and watch.
So you won't be watching? No. I mean, you said there about politics and sport, and I think that, in a way, is the issue for me, because sport just used to be sport. It's just a form of entertainment for people that like to watch sport. And I think because, particularly with the rise of social media, there's been a lot of sports people getting quite vocal on social media about their beliefs on things. And then when you take those beliefs to a country that doesn't share those beliefs, that's where it gets a little bit problematic. I mean, will you be watching?
Yes. I'm quite sad that I'm here today because it starts while we're on air. So you may not see me part 2. Listen, I agree with everything you're saying, you know, and I don't agree with some of their policies, but it's their culture, like you said. The same way that when they came, you know, when they come over here to play football, they don't agree with what we believe in. People have a right to believe in what they believe in, you know, and you're right, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But I just hate the way that everyone thinks we're a politician now. Like, every one of us all think we can do better, and I just want to watch football. And it doesn't matter, you know, they don't believe in showing... They're not saying they don't believe in affection, they just don't believe in showing it in public of any description. That's their way. What gives us the right to say, I don't agree with it?
Like a One Love armband, and all of these sanctions are going to come out. You know, you can't sanction all of the, or you won't have any football anyway.
Yeah, but it's like Gloria said, though, they've also invested millions into this country, and no one's sitting here going, well, I don't want the money because I don't agree with their actions.
And what about Russia 4 years ago? The last World Cup was in Russia. It's not a great place for LGBTQ+ community either. We didn't go through all of this then. I just sort of wonder why all of a sudden sport has become so political, and there's a million political statements that footballers could make when they go onto the pitch. It's either like, we'll make all of them or don't make any of them.
Well, yeah, but as I was saying, it's a great platform to start making a change, and if you don't try to start making a change, then nothing will change.
But equally, I think what's good is it has brought it to everyone's attention. We are all talking about it.
But everybody's backing down.
Well, they're not necessarily backing down. They're not saying they agree with it. They're there to do their job, which is sport, which is a passion they love doing. I don't think sport should be massively involved in politics. But equally, it is bringing it to everyone's attention. It is highlighting the situation, which is what's happened over the years with everything in every country.
Yes,
it gets highlighted and eventually change happens.
I mean, what they're actually saying is they will... FIFA has said it will impose sporting sanctions if our captains wear the armband. So basically, they could come out with the armbands on, but then they'll be penalised. They won't be able to play the next match.
But they've agreed you basically saying you
so that
cannot
affects the game.
Yeah, it affects the game and it affects.
But surely the greatest political stand would have been either, as you say, for all of the nations that. So this is a joint statement from England, Wales, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, and Switzerland. If they'd all just pulled out and said we're not going, wouldn't that be a better statement?
Well,
You can't do that anyway, though. I mean, that's a naive concept, isn't it?
And also, like you said, it's been going on. It's been going on, what, 12, 14 years. This was first started.
I mean, in the planning,
why are we only talking about it now?
Yeah.
This should have been organised.
And what I didn't like yesterday was the fact that one of the organisers, one of the co-hosts, suddenly is coming up with all these political statements. And you brought up a very valid point about the fact that sport used to be never in the political line. And actually in Northern Ireland, where that strife went on for 35 years, the only thing that transcended that and bombs and bullets and everything, which is extreme, was sport and entertainment.
I just think we fight so much for equality in the world, not even just in this country, that, you know, if we, as I said, if we don't make a stand, we're never going to make a stand, and nothing is ever going to change, whether it's LGBTQ, race things, or, you know, just having a different colour hair. It just needs to start somewhere.
Well, you're making your stand. You're making your stand by not watching the World Cup, and we asked our viewers, and of course that's the demographic of our viewers, who might not necessarily be particular football fans anyway, and 66% of you said that you wouldn't be watching it. So, oh yes, oh indeed, yes. Wow.